In the far edge of the galaxy, where stars were cold and light moved like a tired traveler, there was a small research station named Outpost Vera 9. It floated silently above a dying red star, forgotten by most and visited by none. Only a few scientists lived there, studying old radio waves that drifted through space, echoes of civilizations long gone. Among them was Kyle, a young alien researcher with silver eyes and a curious mind. He often spent long nights staring at the monitor, hoping to find something interesting. Most days the signals he received were just static, noise from dead worlds. But one night, something strange happened. A deep sound, steady and repeating, appeared on his screen. It wasn't like the usual background noise. It had rhythm. It had structure. It was a message. Kyle frowned, adjusting his headset. "Computer, analyze the pattern," he said softly. The computer responded in a calm voice. "Language unknown. Signal origin, unregistered sector. Estimated age, 612 years. Kyle's eyes widened. 600 years? He whispered. That was impossible. No signal survived that long unless it came from something powerful. Or something human. He called for his senior researcher, Dr. Rel, an old alien with skin like bronze metal. Rel listened carefully as the signal played again. 3 short tones, 2 long ones, then silence. Over and over. After a long moment, Rel's expression changed. "I've heard this before," he said quietly. "Not in this lifetime, but in the records. It's from Earth." The word hung in the air like a ghost. Earth, the name itself carried weight even after centuries. The humans had once ruled the stars. They were fierce, creative, and unstoppable. But during the Galactic Wars they vanished. Some said they were destroyed by their own weapons. Others said they went beyond the known galaxy. Either way, no one had heard from them since. Kyle stared at the old scientist. "Humans, but they're extinct." "Maybe," Rel said. "Or maybe they've just been silent." Until now. News of the discovery spread across the station within hours. Everyone gathered around the central hollow table as Kyle played the signal again and again. Some were fascinated. Others were terrified. A tall officer, Commander Voss, slammed his hand on the table. "Shut it down," he ordered. "Do not respond. If this is real, we can't risk drawing attention." Kyle looked shocked. "But, Commander, this could be history. Don't you want to know what it says?" Voss turned his sharp gaze toward him. "I don't care what it says. If humans are truly alive, then we should pray they stay far away. You don't know what they were capable of." But curiosity burned stronger in Kyle than fear. When the others went to rest, he stayed behind in the control room, replaying the signal again and again. The sound almost felt alive, like a heartbeat calling from the dark. Hours passed. Kyle opened an old archive, searching through ancient data logs. He found a translation file, damaged but still working. When he ran the signal through it, the translation appeared in flickering letters on the screen. "This is Earth Command. To any who hear us, the war is not over." Kyle froze. His heart raced. "The war? What war?" he whispered. He sat back, staring at the message. It couldn't be possible. 600 years ago, the Galactic War ended. Every known empire had signed peace. What war were the humans still fighting? Before he could think further, the station lights flickered. The signal grew stronger and louder. It was no longer an echo. It was a response. Kyle's console beeped rapidly. "Incoming data stream," the computer announced. "What?" "But I didn't." Kyle's voice stopped as he saw the coordinates appear on the screen. The signal was triangulating, tracing the source, and the source was moving. He called Dr. Rel back, voice trembling. "Doctor, it's responding. The signal is active." Rel hurried in, scanning the monitor. The old alien's face turned pale as he read the data. "That's impossible. Nothing that old should still transmit." "It's coming this way," Kyle said quietly. The words silenced the room. Outside, through the wide observation window, the stars shimmered faintly. Somewhere beyond them, something ancient was waking up, and it was headed straight for them. Commander Voss rushed in when alarms began to flash red. "What did you do?" he shouted. Kyle couldn't answer. He just pointed at the screen. The signal was no longer a small pulse. It was now a steady wave, powerful and focused, like a reply to a question that should never have been asked. Dr. Rel whispered, almost to himself. "They heard us." For a moment, no one moved. The hum of machines filled the air, and then the computer spoke again, in a quiet, almost human tone. Signal confirmed. Origins classified. Estimated arrival. 3 standard cycles. Kyle felt his blood run cold. 3 cycles. 3 days. The forgotten signal had been answered, and the most feared species in galactic history was coming home. 3 days. That was all the time Outpost Vera 9 had before the unknown object reached them. Since the signal was received, the small research station had turned into a storm of fear and activity. Every screen showed tracking data. Every corridor buzzed with voices. And yet no one could truly believe it, that humans might be coming back. Kale hadn't slept since the night the signal replied. His mind kept replaying the same words. This is Earth Command. The war is not over. What war? Who were they fighting? And why now, after 600 years of silence? He sat in the control room with Dr. Rell and Commander Voss. The screens showed a faint dot moving through the black. The ship, or whatever it was still days away, but its energy reading was off the charts. It's not a small vessel, Rell said quietly. That power signature. It's a fleet, Commander Voss clenched his jaw. A fleet? You mean there's more than one? Rell nodded. Hundreds, maybe thousands, but they're not broadcasting any known ID codes. It's like they don't want to be identified. Voss slammed his hand on the table. Contact Central Command now. This is a Class Omega event. They need to prepare the defense network. Within hours, the news spread across the galaxy. The Galactic Council held emergency meetings. Panic rippled through entire star systems. Merchants stopped trade routes. Border colonies locked down. The official message from the Council was calm. Unidentified fleet approaching. Remain alert. But the people had already decided what it meant. Humanity was back. Kale watched the news feeds from his small cabin. Every channel showed old holovids of the human wars, cities burning, fleets of black ships, and soldiers who fought until their last breath. Humans had been both the saviors and monsters of the galaxy. They helped weak species survive, but when betrayed, they destroyed entire empires. Their motto was simple and terrifying. If we burn, you burn with us. And now they were returning. A message notification blinked on Kale's screen. It was from Central Command, ordering all stations to go silent and avoid sending signals. They didn't want to draw attention, but Kale couldn't stop thinking about the message they had received. That cry from Earth Command. What if the humans weren't coming for war? What if they were coming for help? He walked down the dark corridor to Dr. Rell's lab. The old scientist was staring at a projection of the incoming fleet, zooming in on one of the largest ships. Look at the design, Rell said. This isn't old Terran engineering. It's advanced, beyond anything we've seen, maybe even beyond our current level. Kyle squinted at the image. The ships were long and sharp, like black spears cutting through space. They reflected no light. They looked like shadows given form. Do you think they'll attack? Kale asked. Rell hesitated. If they wanted war, they wouldn't announce themselves with a signal. They would have struck without warning. I think they're coming for a reason. Kyle's heart thumped. Then maybe we should listen. Before Rell could answer, the station alarms began to wail. A voice echoed through the halls. Unidentified fleet has entered system range. Visual contact in 1 hour. Commander Voss's voice came through the comm. All personnel to observation deck. This is not a drill. Every researcher, officer, and technician gathered near the giant observation window. Outside, the red star flickered weakly, and beyond it, space shimmered with light. Then they saw it, a wall of ships, black and silent, sliding out of the void. Hundreds of them, perfectly aligned, stretching across the horizon. No banners, no colors. Only darkness. Some people gasped. Others stepped back in fear. Kyle couldn't look away. They're beautiful, he whispered. Voss growled. They're terrifying. The lead ship moved closer, massive enough to block the view of the star. A faint blue glow pulsed along its edges. And then, a voice came through every channel, calm and deep. Speaking in perfect galactic standard. This is Admiral Reeve of the United Terran Fleet. We have received your distress signal. Identify yourselves. The word sent a chill through everyone. Voss looked at Rell, confused. Distress signal? We didn't send one. Rell's eyes slowly turned toward Kale. Kale's voice cracked. I only replied to their message. I didn't. Before he could finish, the voice continued. You are not in danger. We are here to assist. Stand by for contact. Assist? Voss muttered. What kind of help comes with a fleet like that? The humans didn't wait for permission. A smaller ship broke formation and approached Vera 9. It stopped just outside docking range, its surface shifting like black glass. Then, a holographic image appeared in the air inside the observation deck. A human figure in dark armor, tall and calm with piercing grey eyes. The next day, the galaxy buzzed with only one name: humanity. Every news channel, every holo screen, and every space station repeated the same question. Why have they returned? The humans had come back with a fleet that could darken suns, and yet they said they came to help. No one believed them. Not yet. On outpost Vera 9, Kyle stood by the window, watching the silent human ships hanging in orbit. They didn't move, didn't attack, they simply waited. It was as if the entire fleet was watching them. Commander Voss was furious. This is psychological warfare, he growled, pacing across the command room. They're testing us, waiting to see how afraid we'll become. Dr. Rell shook his head. Or maybe they're waiting for us to listen. The humans had sent another message that morning, a simple invitation. We request a meeting. No weapons, no threats, just truth. The Galactic Council hesitated. They remembered the old wars, when humanity's truth had burned half the Orion Arm. But curiosity won. A small shuttle from Vera 9 flew toward the main Terran flagship. Horizon Spear. On board were Kale, Commander Voss, and Dr. Rell, the first non-humans to face humanity in over 6 centuries. When they entered the hangar, Kyle felt his breath catch. The walls were smooth metal, black with faint blue lines running like veins of light. Human soldiers stood in silence, wearing armor that looked alive, shifting slightly with their movements. Their helmets hid their faces, but their presence carried a strange weight, like a memory of storms. Then a man stepped forward, tall, broad-shouldered, with cold grey eyes that seemed to see everything. I am Admiral Reeve, he said simply. Welcome aboard the Horizon Spear. His voice was calm, but something in it carried power, not anger but control. Voss stood stiffly. You say you came to help. Help with what? Reeve's expression didn't change. The same war you ended 600 years ago. The war for survival, Kale frowned. But there's no war. The galaxy has been at peace for centuries. Reeve looked at him for a long moment, then gestured toward a large window. Look outside, he said. Kale followed his gaze. Beyond the stars he saw nothing but empty space. Then the window flickered. A projection appeared showing a far-off system. One planet after another burned. The image zoomed in on a swarm of black objects devouring entire cities, turning light into shadow. What are those? Rell whispered. Reeve's voice was heavy. We call them the Harvesters. Machines born from an ancient signal we once ignored, just like yours. They consume everything. They don't stop. They don't reason. And they're coming. Kale felt his throat tighten. You mean... They followed you here? Reeve turned to face him. They follow life. Wherever it hides. Silence filled the room. Voss's voice trembled with anger. So you brought them to us? Reeve didn't flinch. We didn't bring them. We ran from them, across galaxies. And now they've found your galaxy too. Kale stepped closer. Then why didn't you warn us sooner? Reeve's cold eyes softened slightly. Because last time we tried, the ones we warned turned on us. They called us liars. They attacked us out of fear. So we learned to fight alone. The room went quiet again. Even Voss couldn't find words. Reeve walked toward a console and touched it. The hologram shifted again, this time showing human soldiers fighting endless waves of metallic creatures. Kale watched in shock as the humans fought in complete silence, moving with deadly precision, their weapons glowing blue. They were outnumbered 1,000 to 1, yet they never stopped. Even when ships exploded and worlds burned, they kept fighting. Reeve spoke softly. You want to know why they call us the most feared species? It's not because of what we destroy. It's because of what we endure. Kale looked at him with awe. You kept fighting. All this time? Reeve nodded. Humanity doesn't surrender. Not to fear, not to pain, not even to extinction. Dr. Rell took a deep breath. And now you want us to join you. Reeve's tone turned serious again. Yes, you must prepare. The Harvesters are close. If we don't unite, your stars will go dark next. Voss shook his head. The Council will never agree. They still see you as a threat. Reeve looked out the window again, his expression unreadable. Then they'll learn what true threats look like. As the alien delegation was escorted back to their shuttle, Kyle looked once more at the human soldiers lined up in perfect silence. He felt no hatred in them, only something deeper, determination. When the shuttle returned to Vera 9, Kyle sat quietly, staring at the stars. The words "the war is not over" echoed in his mind. Maybe the humans weren't monsters. Maybe they were survivors of something the galaxy had never seen. And deep in the darkness between stars, a small glimmer of red light flickered, the first sign of the harvesters crossing into the Milky Way. The galaxy stood at a crossroads. Humanity had returned, not as conquerors but as survivors carrying a warning. And yet, fear spoke louder than truth. Across hundreds of star systems, old memories of war were waking up again. The Galactic Council gathered in a floating city above the blue world of Valta Prime. Dozens of alien leaders filled the chamber, bright scales, metal faces, glowing eyes, all whispering the same word with dread: humans. Kyle stood among them as the representative from Outpost Vera 9, beside his mentor, Dr. Rel. He had brought the humans' message, the warning about the harvesters. But no one wanted to listen. A council leader with crystal skin banged her staff on the floor. "We cannot trust them," she said sharply. "Humans lie. They always have. They want us to lower our guard so they can strike again." Another voice, low and deep, growled from the shadows. "They arrive with a fleet that blocks the stars, and we're supposed to believe they come in peace?" Kyle took a deep breath and stepped forward. "You don't understand. They're not here to fight us. They're running from something worse. They showed us proof." The crystal-skinned leader glared. "Proof can be forged. Fear can be used." The chamber erupted into arguments. Some demanded that humanity be destroyed before they could act. Others, mostly scientists and explorers, believed Kyle's words, that this threat might be real. Dr. Rel tried to calm them. "Please, if the humans are right, we're wasting time we don't have." But fear won the vote. The Council declared a precautionary strike against the Terran fleet to ensure the safety of the galaxy. Kyle felt sick. "You're making a mistake," he said softly. "They came to help us." The Council ignored him. The order was sent. That night, Kyle couldn't sleep. The stars outside his window looked smaller, dimmer. He knew the humans would see this attack not as an act of defense, but betrayal. When morning came, fleets of shining alien warships gathered near the Terran borders. Thousands of ships pointed their weapons at the human fleet, waiting for the final command. Kyle and Dr. Rel tried to reach the humans first. They sent encrypted messages begging Admiral Reeve to retreat, to stay calm. But before any reply came, the first shot was fired. A single plasma beam tore through the black, hitting one of the smaller Terran ships. The explosion bloomed silently, bright and horrifying. The entire galaxy watched the live broadcast. The war that everyone feared had just begun again. Kyle slammed his fists on the console. No, they didn't even fight back." Rel's old voice shook. "They won't." Not yet, and he was right. The human fleet didn't return fire. Instead, they formed a protective wall around their damaged ship and sent one message across every channel in the galaxy. "We will not strike first, but we will finish what others begin." The words sent chills across every station. Within minutes, the alien fleets fell silent. The power readings on the Terran ship spiked, energy signatures far beyond known technology. The stars themselves seemed to dim as their ships powered up. "By the stars," Rel whispered. "Their weapons are—" "Impossible," Kyle watched, heart pounding. "They're giving one last warning." For hours, no one moved. Then the alien commanders received orders to stand down. The Council, shaken by the humans' response, called off the attack, too afraid of what would come next. But the damage was done. That night, a secret meeting took place aboard the Horizon Spear. Kyle and Dr. Rel were invited. Admiral Reeve stood by the window looking out at the stars. "You tried to stop them," he said quietly. "For that I thank you." Kyle's voice trembled. "They didn't listen. They think you're the danger." Reeve nodded. "They're not wrong to fear us. Fear keeps species alive. But it also blinds them." Rel looked at him. Will you leave now? Before more ships attack? Reeve turned, his expression calm but cold. No, if we leave, the harvesters will find them unprepared. We stay, not for trust, but for duty. Kyle frowned. Duty? Reeve nodded slowly. Humanity started this war long ago by mistake. The signal that woke the harvesters, it came from one of our ancient machines. We created our own nightmare. The room went silent. Rel whispered, "So you're trying to stop what you once started?" Reeve's eyes darkened. "Yes, and if the galaxy will not stand with us, then we'll stand alone again." He turned toward the window. "But when the harvesters arrive, they won't care about our fears or history. They will come for everything that breathes. Then the galaxy will finally understand why humanity fights the way we do." Kale stared out at the stars beside him. He could almost feel something stirring beyond the edge of light. A silent, endless hunger drawing closer. 3 days later, reports came from the frontier colonies. Entire outposts had gone dark. Patrols vanished without a trace. The harvesters had entered the Milky Way. Darkness spread across the outer colonies like a slow storm. One by one, stars that once glowed with trade and laughter went silent. No distress calls, no survivors. Only silence, the kind that felt alive. From the command deck of Horizon Spear, Admiral Reeve watched a glowing map showing red dots blinking out, system after system. His jaw tightened. "They're here," he said quietly. "The harvesters have arrived." Kyle stood beside him, heart heavy. He had seen the images from the border worlds. Empty cities, drained planets, and strange black scars left across the ground. "What do they want?" Kale asked softly. Reeve's voice was low. "They don't want. They consume. Everything, a metal, energy, life. To them we are nothing but resources." Dr. Rel leaned on his cane, staring at the map. "And this thing, it started because of us." Reeve nodded. "A mistake made centuries ago. A self-replicating probe sent to explore deep space. It found something it shouldn't have, a code, a design. It built, multiplied, evolved. And then it came back." Kyle swallowed hard. "So you've been fighting your own creation?" Reeve's eyes darkened. "Every war has ghosts. This one just never stopped." The Galactic Council, once proud and loud, now trembled. They sent desperate messages asking humanity for help. The same humans they had attacked days earlier. The humans answered without hesitation. Every Terran ship began to move. Massive carriers and sleek fighters spread out across systems, building defenses, evacuating colonies and sharing weapon designs with alien forces. For the first time in centuries, humans and aliens worked side by side, even if uneasily. But Kale noticed something strange. The humans didn't just fight. They searched. Every Terran vessel carried teams scanning deep space for something, a signal, a pattern, a call. Kyle asked Reeve one night, "What are you looking for?" Reeve hesitated, then turned to him. "You wouldn't believe me." "Try me," Kyle said. Reeve looked out at the stars. "That signal you found on Vera 9? It wasn't just a message. It was an answer." Kyle frowned. "Answer to what?" Reeve walked to a terminal and tapped a few keys. A recording began to play, the same one Kyle had found weeks ago. The human voice repeated, "This is Earth Command. To any who hear us, the war is not over." But this time the message didn't end there. The damaged parts had been restored. The voice continued, "We are under attack. Earth is falling. We are sending survivors through the rift. If anyone hears this, we are coming home." Kyle's heart stopped. "Home? You mean?" Reeve nodded slowly. "The fleet that arrived here, us, we are not from your galaxy's past. We are what's left of humanity from another. We escaped through an intergalactic rift centuries after the fall of Earth. The message you found, it was sent by our ancestors calling for help. We answered it." Dr. Rel's voice shook. "So you crossed galaxies to respond to your own ancient distress call?" "Yes," Reeve said quietly. "The call never stopped echoing through the stars. It reached us, far away, long after the original Earth was gone. We followed it, not to conquer, but to warn whoever found it next." Kyle stared at him in disbelief and awe. "You answered your own past." Reeve gave a small nod. "We answered humanity's cry. That's what it means to be Terran. We never abandon our own, not even our ghosts." Outside, alarms blared. The ship shook. "Harvester swarm detected," shouted a crew member. 1,500 units approaching. The window filled with moving shadows, a black wave swallowing the stars. The harvesters were here. Reeve turned to his crew. All ships, engage formation Delta 9, protect the civilian transports. No one gets left behind. Kyle grabbed a handrail as the ship trembled again. Explosions flashed outside like tiny suns. Through the chaos, Kyle saw human ships fighting in perfect coordination. They moved like one living organism, silent, relentless. The aliens beside them struggled to keep up, but the humans held the line, Dr. Rell whispered, watching them in awe. Now I understand why they're feared. They fight like they have nothing left to lose. Reeve looked at him and said, because we already lost everything once. We won't lose it again. The battle raged on for hours. Planetary shields cracked. Thousands of drones exploded. But the humans kept pushing forward, saving every ship they could. At last, when the swarm retreated, silence fell. The stars burned dim, but they were still there. Kale sat down exhausted. You fought for a galaxy that tried to destroy you. Reeve looked at him calmly. We didn't fight for them. We fought because someone has to. He walked to the command console, where an old Earth symbol flickered on the screen. A blue circle with a small white star in the center. The call was never about saving humans, Reeve said. It was about reminding us what we stand for. We fight for life, and any life. Kyle looked at him with new respect. Then maybe humanity didn't just return to warn us. Maybe you came back to teach us. Reeve gave a faint smile. Maybe, but the lesson isn't over yet. Outside, sensors detected something massive moving beyond the edge of the system, far larger than any harvester swarm. Rell stared at the readings. What is that? Reeve's eyes hardened. The source. The one that built them all. The ship's lights dimmed as the massive shadow began to move closer. The final battle was coming, and this time, the entire galaxy would fight, led by the most feared species ever born. The stars had gone dark. Where once there was light, now only shadows moved, no endless silent cold. The harvesters had come in full force. Not hundreds, not thousands, millions. Their source, was a machine the size of a small moon, had entered the galaxy. It glowed with red light, pulsing like a living heart. Every few seconds it released waves of drones that poured into space like rivers of black fire. On board the Horizon's Spear, Admiral Reeve stood at the command window. Around him, the last united fleet of the galaxy, humans, aliens, and machines, waited for his signal. Kyle stood beside him, dressed in a light armor suit given to him by the humans. It felt heavy, not because of its weight, but because of what it meant. He was part of this fight now. Dr. Rell sat at a nearby console, his old hands trembling as he adjusted the energy readings. There's no way to win this battle, he whispered. There are too many. Reeve's voice was steady. Then we don't fight to win. We fight so something survives. Kyle looked at him. You really think we can stop that thing? Reeve turned, his gray eyes calm but fierce. We've stopped guards before. Machines are easier. The fleet launched. Thousands of ships burst forward, lights flashing like stars reborn. Human battleships formed the front line. Alien cruisers covering their flanks. Together they flew straight toward the harvester swarm. The first impact came fast. Black drones slammed into the defense lines, tearing through smaller vessels. Explosions lit up the void like dying suns. Kyle watched in horror as ships vanished from the radar. But through the chaos, the humans kept formation. They didn't break. They didn't retreat. Every ship carried the same emblem, a small blue star on a white circle, a symbol of Earth long gone but never forgotten. Focus all power on the source, Reeve shouted. Target the core. The human supercarriers unleashed beams of light that cut through the swarm, opening a path. Alien fleets followed, their combined fire shaking the void. But the source was unlike anything they had faced. It absorbed energy, feeding on every attack. Its red glow grew brighter with each blast. Kyle's voice cracked. We're feeding it. Reeve clenched his jaw. Then we stop feeding. He tapped a command. Activate Protocol 0. The bridge fell silent. Dr. Rell turned sharply. That's a suicide order. Reeve didn't respond. He opened a secure channel to the fleet. This is Admiral Reeve to all forces. The source cannot be destroyed by normal means. Its heart is made from our own ancient technology. Only a direct overload, a controlled core detonation, can end it. The Horizon Spear will deliver that charge, a quiet voice answered through the comm. Sir, you won't survive that. Reeve smiled faintly. No one ever truly survives history. We just make sure someone's left to tell it. Kyle stepped forward, shaking his head. You can't do this. There must be another way. Reeve looked at him gently. There's always another way, Kyle. Just not enough time to find it. Dr. Rell stood, tears glimmering in his eyes. If you die, the fleet will lose its heart. Reeve placed a hand on his shoulder. Humanity's heart isn't me. It's the will to keep fighting, even when we know we'll lose. He turned to Kale. You and Rell will lead the survivors. Take the knowledge, rebuild, remember what we stood for. Kyle's voice broke. Why me? Reeve smiled faintly. Because you listened. Outside, the Horizon Spear broke formation and dove straight into the swarm. Thousands of drones turned to intercept it, but the ship's guns blazed brighter than the sun. Power core overload at 90%, Rell's console announced. Kyle watched, breathless, as Reeve's voice echoed across every channel in the fleet. To all who fight today, human, alien, machine, know this. Fear is what divides us. Hope is what unites us. Hold the line. The Horizon Spear reached the source. The massive machine opened like a monstrous flower, its red core pulsing wildly. Reeve whispered one last sentence to himself. For Earth. For all of us. Then, light. A flash so bright it erased the stars for a heartbeat. When the glow faded, the source was gone. The harvester swarm fell still, lifeless, drifting. The war was over.